Hi guys, it is a spectacularly gorgeous day here in the end times in paradise on Friday, March 11th, 2016. So Friday is the day that I bring you my ecological meltdown roundup rant, which I just finished. And I always open that rant by saying that Friday is the easiest day for me to be a doomsday prophet because I can just go through these emails that I get from these environmental organizations. But I got to tell you, after doing that rant and comparing those headlines to the mainstream media today, the alternative media, environmental media, at least today, it can barely hold a candle to the top 100 stories on the planet, at least here in Yahoo News. And this is why I agree with Al Gore, who, I guess Al Gore, his new opening joke at his speeches, he just used it on TED Talk, is that, I'm paraphrasing, this is pretty close to a direct quote, that a view of the day's headlines is like a walk through the book of Revelation. And that's exactly what it is. So I'm not even, I'm just going to read some headlines. The top 100 stories on the planet for on this gorgeous day. Oh, Hambone. What chaos. What collapse. Looking around, I can hear somebody. I can hear the truck door slamming, heading on down to the beach. Anywho, so of course, as I had my rant yesterday, of course, what today is the 5th anniversary of the Fukushima tsunami and meltdown. Bunch of stories, not surprised, this feeding frenzy in the media today before the story completely disappears in a few more days. I had my rant yesterday, an excellent article still here today from Reuters News claiming correctly that virtually nothing has been accomplished in the 5 years since that happened. And so there you go, 5 years of doing nothing. Of course, that's the number 3 story on the planet today. The number 1 biggest story on the planet: Ben Carson endorses Donald Trump. And if you don't understand why that's not a headline from the end times, then I guess you'll find out soon enough. Several stories about the mainstream media, more and more political pundits on the mainstream media pretty much throwing in the towel at this point. It is going to be Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, unless Bernie Sanders pulls a miracle, and good luck to you, Bernie. But it's all over for the Republicans. I guess this idiot Rubio, he'll disappear after Florida. Anyway, guys, and even if it was Ted Cruz, Jesus, and then Jesus again, the 4th story on planet Earth today: Duck Dynasty Clan has come out with their endorsement. There you go. The Duck Dynasty Clan. That bunch of clueless moron rednecks. And if you think that the Duck Dynasty Clan is getting behind Donald Trump, you would be wrong. They are getting behind Hillary Clinton. And the Duck Dynasty Clan endorsing Hillary Clinton coming in at the number 4 biggest story on the planet, right after Donald Trump and the 5th anniversary of Fukushima. We have one story, humans blamed for deaths of 13 bald eagles in Maryland. No shit, Sherlock. It appears they've been poisoned. And then a story right next to it, 13 dead bald eagles here in the U.S., while over there in the Mediterranean, 25 million migratory birds being killed in the Mediterranean countries every year, being killed by humans. I love it. Japan tsunami, nation falls silent 5 years on. I think they fell silent 5 years ago. From Japan to China, China says slowing economy will not stop anti-pollution efforts.
Come on now, that ain't even bullshit. That's horseshit.
And then what do we see on the 5th anniversary of the Fukushima nuclear disaster? We see India nuclear reactor shuts down after radioactive water leak. That's a good way, celebrating 5 years of a nuclear disaster, but authorities stress that nobody has been exposed to radiation.
Warning, bullshit alert.
From there to Malawi, drought brings fresh misery and hunger to flood survivors. Here is jet turned back after passenger spots spanner in wing, some sort of big tool being left behind in the engine wing, reminding me of that my favorite Twilight Zone episode about the little monster eating the wing. More about Japan. Okay, how about this one? TransCanada now bidding to buy the Columbia pipeline in a deal valued at more than $10 billion, the Wall Street Journal reported. Several versions of this story. Earth saw explosive annual growth in carbon dioxide in 2015. Earth saw its largest annual spike in atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations on record last year. The single highest CO2 dumped into the atmosphere last year than in any year in history. Next to that story, Ethiopia plans new 2,000 megawatt hydroelectric dam. SeaWorld killer whale Tilikum from controversial Blackfish film dying in captivity. Okay. Here is rising seas swamp the Marshall Islands. Yep. Residents in low-lying areas of the Marshall Islands were braced for ongoing flooding Friday as a series of high tides underscores the Pacific Island nation's vulnerability to climate change. We have two stories on the world's biggest cruise ship being unleashed on the planet, the Harmony of the Seas cruise ship, taking its maiden voyage today. That will be part of my tomorrow's Clueless Moron Roundup rant, and then one more echo of yesterday's Fukushima Roundup rant, where Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe celebrating the Fukushima nuclear meltdown disaster in his speech on Wednesday, saying that Japan cannot do without nuclear power, but I see my internet has swallowed the rest of the top 100 stories on the planet, but I think you get an idea from their top, what was that, about 15 stories on the planet, that Al Gore is spot on in his hilarious joke, his knee slapper, that a apocalyptimist Al Gore claiming that a walkthrough to the day's headlines looking more and more like a walk through the book of Revelation. That is exactly what it is, Al. Glad you think the book of Revelation is such a laughing matter, and it always gets a chuckle from your TED Talk audience of clueless morons. But I gotta wrap up my second truncated roundup rant of the day and figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of my own gorgeous day in the end times. Let's see what Sancho Panza. I think my little dog has his day cut out for him. What do you think, guys? Sancho Panza. You. Hello. The world is collapsing, Sancho Panza. We are in the middle of the 6th mass extinction, Sancho Panza. Sancho, you might want to be interested in to know that CO2 emissions were higher last year than ever in recorded history. Does that interest you? Yep, I think Sancho Panza pretty much, he's got a full belly and a comfortable bed. His future is so bright, he has to wear shades. I actually have some sunglasses ordered for Sancho Panza. Bye, guys.